Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cozy Sidekicks panel. How's everybody doing as we slowly get people in to the chat? How's everyone doing?
I'm doing great.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Hi.
Yes. I'm so excited. I know we just lost Quenby for a second, but hopefully she'll pop back in. Connection issues. If I have that as well at some point, that's because my Wi-Fi at my cottage is spotty. But hopefully we're okay. Hopefully we're good. But yes, welcome into the panel. We're going to go around and introduce ourselves one by one. We'll start with SL on the side here.
Yes, I am SL Rowland. I'm the author of the Tales of Adria Cozy Fantasy series. Book one is Cursed Cocktails. We have the Halfling's Harvest, which just released a couple months ago, and Sword and Thistle. All of them feature animal companions, so I'm glad to be here.
We'll do TL next.
Hey, I'm TL Stone, and I'm writing Tales from the Tavern. Book one is Tusk Tales and Tea Cakes, and book two is Sorcery, Swords, and Scones. And they have cute animal sidekicks as well.
We'll go down to you, Bo.
Hi, my name is Bo Huffman. I am the author of the Everdorn series. We have Desserts and Dragons. We've got a pretty cute dragon right there. And I'm also the author of book two, To the Moon. This one also features dragons, but they're really cute and they help light palace fires and they work in like the forges and stuff. So nice.
Ooh, I love that. And I'm Jen. I'm author J.A. Collignon. I'm an author, Canadian author, and content creator as well. I got my concluded cozy standalone fantasy series. That was out of order. It's fine. The Airbound books. I have a second story, A Little Luck, and the most recent one, A Favored Fae, which has some cozy friends on the cover. We have our little wormling and our fae being down here. And I have animals and creatures in all my books because I think they're the best. And of course, you have to have like a persnickety bookstore cat at some point, right? It's a thing. You have to. Even if they don't talk, they're still fun. But yes, we're going to be talking all things sidekicks today. So, my beautiful friends in the comments, if you have any questions, we will be getting to them near the end of this panel. So leave.
Uh-oh.
Oops. I mean, do we break into song?
We have
We're back
lost
later.
Oh, no.
two people now.
We're dropping like flies.
Well, I've got the questions pulled up. Do we kind of just want to go through them?
Let's jump in.
Okay, so we've got introductions, and then the next question is, what makes an animal companion sidekick so special to you? For me, I like using them as like a humorous little interruption personally. I like them being mischievous, and I like them kind of being there to either guide or hinder someone. I think they can fall into one of two categories, but I kind of like them being a little naughty.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it's fun. It's a way to kind of have your characters interact on an emotional level. And sometimes, talking to a cute sidekick, they can actually say things they may not say to another main character. Having like the sidekick as that foil, I think can be really fun. And of course, they can do really hilarious, silly things, which I think it's just part of their fun, especially, and if they're magical, even better, right?
Definitely.
Yes. Hey, welcome back, Jen.
Jake, sorry about that.
We just we started going with the questions without you.
Thanks for having
totally
those.
If that ever happens, just keep going. Because I know that's, cabin Wi-Fi. But yes, you were answering if what makes an animal companion or a sidekick so special to you in your work. Keep going if you haven't all
Yes,
answered.
I guess we're up to me now. So I've always enjoyed having pets, and they've been a very special part of my life. Like my dog, he's around here somewhere, but he's about to turn 13, and I've had him for 12 years. So I've always, like, when I write my characters, I find that at some point during the story, an animal shows up, whether I plan it or not, and it just finds a way of kind of weaving itself into the plot. I agree that like when they're a little mischievous, like that's always a lot of fun. And I think, sometimes, they're just there for like a little extra flavor to the world, and like, to give a little character to your main characters by, showing how they interact outside of, their normal everything that's happening in the plot. But I also like it when they are a part of the adventure or whatever is happening, and they're able to bring their own little spark to the story.
Agreed. As mine was eating foliage in the background. I love having cute little animals in books, and I think it also helps to kind of feel out the coziness also. Like when you have these companions and these, even if they're not like necessarily like what we consider like an animal companion or a sidekick or something that talks or whatever, it's just so nice to have a creature there that just adds to the coziness, I think. And as you said, SL, it's a level of bringing in that familiarity, because so many of us have beloved animals. I have this absolute buffoon. Her name is Freya, who's a built-in Halloween decoration. I've also grown up with dogs my whole life, so I knew for myself anyways I had to include some sort of animal. And I've got a cat in my first book, a dog in my second book, and then a menagerie of animals in my third. And it's just so fun to play with, especially the magical ones, because I think they're so fun. But anyways, what do you guys think constitutes? Have we gone through it all?
No, we just got to the second one.
No, that one question. My brain is gone. We've all answered what makes an animal companion so special. Yes, okay. Brain is gone. Wi-Fi's gone. We're just having fun. We're just having fun. So what constitutes an animal companion to you guys in your work? I mentioned in the question, like, does a full-size dragon, like something like Saphira from Aragon, do they count as an animal companion, or are we considered like just the pocket-sized ones, just the little ones? What does it constitute for you guys?
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Well, I was gonna say I think you can definitely make them a character, and you can definitely tell when it's like they're their own character versus like they kind of stick with another character, like the main character usually. Like in mine, they're very much stuck with either their owner or they're stuck in like a room of the palace, and that's where they're supposed to be. And so that's where the interactions kind of stay. And the companion also kind of has to bring something out, and I think in the main character. Something that we touched on is like, we like having these characters that adds cozy. I like, no one ever like yells at the companion. Maybe they do, but like I feel like in cozy, it kind of shows like the softer side of even like a really gruff character. You're like, oh, I'm so frustrated, but like that's a really cute dragon. I'm gonna take a minute to pet it, and I feel like that kind of like gives us like a little bit of humor relief, a little bit of just like, whew, okay, like it breaks the tension up a little bit. But I do think that they kind of have to be associated with another character in the book.
I like that take.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the size doesn't necessarily matter. It's how they relate to the main character. Like there has to be some kind of bond there between them that, that they wouldn't have just by, being their own thing, I guess. Like if they're in the book I'm currently writing, there's a dragon companion, and there is kind of a bond that happens after the main character like saves the dragon, whereas the other dragons that appear in the story, I would not call them companions because they don't have that kind of personal relation to the main character.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. Like, I don't think it's necessarily the size that makes them cozy and makes them companions. And I mean, I don't have any big ones just because it doesn't fit like my setting as much to have them as a companion. So all of mine are more in the pocket size, but never say never. And when I do have the bigger ones come in, they haven't so far been in the companion genre. But I do like the flexibility of the pocket ones, because then, they literally can be taken places and they can go all different places and do different things and hide and be mischievous. So I think sometimes the size doesn't matter, but it's like relative to the world you're creating.
I agree. And the mischievous is really definitely a thing in them. She's like right behind the foliage here, just eating it. Oh my goodness gracious. But yes, I think I agree. It does have a level, like the animal companion and the sidekick. Like if you have them just as a random creature in the world, I don't know if that really counts. Or if you have like a giant dragon, like even if they are bonded to a rider, let's say, in a book, like I think it does, like Saphira and Aragon, she becomes a character, right? It's not just a little sidekick on the side. I think the biggest one that I have in my books is the dog, because he's a great hound, which is a play on like a wolfhound, like really big. Because my characters are really really big in that one too. So I'm just like, well, they gotta have a dog that like actually fits their body size. Because I think unless it would be really funny to have like a Chihuahua sized dog with like a 7-foot orc, but I think it's really fun to have the pocket sized ones, the ones you can bring around, if you will, which is great. Because even in my latest book, In a Favorite Fae, on the cover I showed Locke originally, my little dragon fella at the top. He's a little wormling, I call him, and he can like sit on the shoulders of my main character, and that's like his favorite spot to be. So I think it just, I don't know, the personal touch really does work with animal companions for sure. So I guess talking about specific animal companions, and we kind of mentioned like dogs or dragons or whatever. Should animal companions talk? Chime in the comments as well. I know this is kind of a thing people like to talk about, is whether animal companions, should they talk or not. What do you guys think?
I've seen it. I've seen it go both ways, and I've enjoyed it both ways. My first 3 novels in Tales of Adria, the animal companions did not talk, but the one I'm working on currently, it has a dragon that can, communicate telepathically. So it's a different
Does that
experience
count?
writing that. Yeah, and so I don't know. I think you can do it both ways. It adds a little more personality when they can talk, but I think it can add a lot of humor even when they don't.
I saw there was a thread that we were doing of like, what kind of animal, if you had a dragon companion, who would it be? And someone mentioned Mushu from Mulan, and I was like, that's hysterical. I don't think he got enough credit. But I feel like he's also, because he's so chatty, it borders on like almost his own character. So I personally stayed away from the talking, but my dragons are, they're different sizes and they're domesticated, and so they can be tiny, they can be big as horses, but they're like work dragons. And I think what I was going off of is they're kind of like dogs almost, and you don't really need to talk to understand your animal. Like my dog the other day, the harvest moon was out, and she poked her nose in my office and then made me come outside, sat down and looked up at the moon, and I was like, this is a fairy tale creature. What is this? And I felt like I knew what she was looking at, because like, can you imagine being a dog and being like, wow, that wasn't there last week? And I was like, I like that kind of bond of a companion, that like you don't need those words. But I also kind of like the idea of telepathically talking, because I feel like that's like a workaround where it's like only I can understand them. That's pretty clever.
Yeah, it's fun.
I mean, my companions don't talk currently, but I agree. Like they communicate in a different way, and that's part of the fun, is that kind of figuring out how they're communicating, and that the way they either chitter, So I think that's kind of one way. Again, like the animal communication, like we understand what they mean. But I actually love some books. I love when animals talk. Like I love when animals have their entire worlds and villages and the hedgerow thing. Like I love that. I actually have kind of thought about doing like a little spinoff of my magical like animal characters where they're in their own little like forest thing and they're talking. I'm like, that would be fun. I would really enjoy that. But then it's like off my original thing. So I'm trying not to do that. But I really want to hear them like talk to each other.
They could communicate in their own little way, just to each other.
Exactly. It's like they like hide the fact that they can actually talk. Like I love that idea. It's like they're just not like letting the other creatures, the big creatures, know.
Yeah, they don't need to let real like giants know that they can talk.
It's a secret, right?
It's a secret. Yes, I love this conversation because as someone who grew up with just absolutely loving dragons and all that kind of thing, like the telepathic level of communication in some dragon fantasies, especially like Aragon, we're just gonna keep going back to that because Saphira's great. I know she's not an animal companion, but it's that level of connection and the bond there that also comes with that. It really is so interesting to explore in a magical creature. In my first two books, it's a dog and a cat. They don't have any magical abilities, but cats can do their own thing and talk in their own ways, or dogs can as well, and they communicate in their own ways. But it's that level of creativity and play with a magical creature that can talk, or even if it's just telepathically, is really cool. And I got to play with that in a Favored Fae because Locke is a wormling, but he can speak out loud, and he has a limited vocabulary, but it's still there, and he learns as people interact with him and all that kind of stuff. And it's so fun to have him be this little persnickety little thing in the corner, just like kind of irritated by everybody. And then we have the telepathic level with Thistle, my little fey creature, because he has a telepathic bond to my main character, and it's definitely interesting to play with. I love the telepathic bond. It makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. I did see one actually, kind of a question come up that is tied to what we're talking about, and it's like, what kind of research do you do, if any, when you're creating these companions?
Not a whole lot, I would say. I mean, like I've had, cats and dogs around me for like much of my life, and even when there are like in Sword and Thistle, there's a like a little baby dire pig that the main character finds, and I kind of when I do those mannerisms, like I base them a lot around how cats or dogs behave, because I feel like that comes up across well to the reader and like makes them a little more relatable than just having them be like wild creatures.
Yeah, when my creatures are kind of combinations. So it's like I have a little call him a flutterstoat, and he's like a little white weasel with like wings. And so I did a lot of research on what like little white stoats do and how they move and how they but then again, mine can fly. So like that's obviously something you can't really research. So all of mine are kind of a like little put together of different things. So I kind of research what the original things look like and then just imagine how it would go together.
That's fun. I've also based them off my animals, but I kind of decided that they were domesticated, but even though there's dragons, there's like different types of dragons, and depending on what their role in society is, they act differently. Like the spoiled pet dragons are definitely cats, and then more of like the trained dragons that are trained to like find gold and work in like a blacksmith shop are definitely dogs. And so it kind of just depends on where you are. And I liked the idea of like, well, the dragon can be anyone really. But the ones that I specifically wrote about are definitely based on cats.
It's definitely so fun to play with that. I guess not even stereotypical, but the believed differences between cats and dogs when you're working with different animals. I love that you do that with your dragons, Bo. The trained ones are like the German shepherds you see in an airport sniffing bombs. Like they're trained to do stuff like that, or be even like a seeing eye jog or anything like that with disability, and seeing those kind of level of training, and then you see the cats just be like, I'm just here. Like it's just the persnickety level of cats. I love it so much. Usually I base my animals off of in my head, if I ever work with like dragons or anything, I base it off of cats for sure. Because I feel like that level of attitude that cats have is just so fun. But my fey creature in here is definitely based off of dogs and how they work, especially puppies, because it's like a baby animal, so it's gambling everywhere, and it's too many limbs, too long. They're just falling all over each other. It's so fun. And I think I never really even thought of doing research for that. I think I would only if it became a creature that I was like, I don't know how to go about this or how to explain this. Like, even if I wanted to tie it into like tigers or something, even then I'm like, well, I know what sounds tigers make because I've been to the zoo. So it's like, what else do I need? They're magical. It's fine. But I love the research you've done for stoats, TL. That's really cool. I love that. Like getting their little mannerisms right, even when they fly. That's really cool. I love that. Okay. So what is more fun to you guys if you've included both like the dog and cat level stuff with magical stuff? What is more fun for you in your work to write? The magical companions or like the mundane companions, if you will?
The magical. I think just because you can then just make them do things that other animals can't. Like you can just make it up. I think that's the great thing about writing is like you're in fantasy. It's like it's your world. You're the creator and you can make it up and they can do whatever you want and you can make them look however you want and they have powers however you want and you can add things. So I think that's the fun part is like having this like fantasy, like how cute is like a little white stoat that can fly around. Like it's like I just was like what would be better than a cute little white stoat? Like a cute little white stoat with wings. Like, yeah, so I think,
Absolutely.
right. And like, I just think that's the fun part is you can give them all these things. I mean, I love like regular non-magical animals, but it's kind of fun to like just like zhuzh them up.
Well, and if anyone is like, that's not how they act in real life, you're like, this is how it happens in my fantasy world.
This isn't real life. It's better.
This is not real life. It's
right.
You write your own version then.
Right.
Yes. How about you, SL? I know in your first book you have the ghost cat as well, or ghost fox.
The spirit
right?
fox. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of fun, like writing. I mean, magical or like mythical creatures that you don't see anywhere because you do get to do your own take on them, and like you get to like build their history into the world and how they came to be, and like there's a whole lot that you can do to just like expand the world in addition to the scene that they're in just by really delving deep into the character of something like that.
Agreed. I think it's just it adds. Yes, it's fun to have like the mundane animals in your fantasy books, like cats and dogs, because it adds a level of relatability, and people are like, oh, I love my dog, so like this magical person has a dog too. That's just the best. Then when you add a level of magic, you have the fox spirits, you have the dragons, you have the flying stoats, you have the little fey creatures. Like it adds a level of whimsy, and that to me is so fun, especially in cozies, because I know cozies are just, there's so many words to describe a cozy book, but whimsy is one of my favorite ones because they're so delightful to read, and I love reading cute little animals doing something random, and it's just great when it's magical, I think. Yes, okay, so let me go through my questions here, make sure that we've gotten through most of them. Ooh, this is an interesting one. What kind of companions would you like to see more of in the cozy genre? Are there any animals that you'd like to see brought in? Any different mythical creatures?
I'm bringing in jackalopes. I have a fun story about this. So I live in Texas, but I didn't always live in Texas. I lived in New Jersey growing up, and I was a little bitty kid. My dad would come to Texas, and he would send postcards home, and some of them have armadillos on them, and some had jackalopes. And like, if you look at a picture of both side by side, you're like, clearly the armadillo is not real. Like, there's no way that's real, right? So I was like, they're both real because I'm 5, and obviously. And my dad was like, you're so dumb. You thought the jackalope was real? And now I'm like, you thought the armadillo was real? Like, can you, for real, look at that? And I've seen armadillos in real life. They're not real. I'm sorry. They're not real creatures. And how dare you be like, clearly that's real, but a jackalope's not. So I am bringing jackalopes back. There are stuffed jackalopes all over barbecue joints down here. So maybe some kind of lore about that. But I feel like that's an animal that's just not talked about enough. And so I'm creating this like desert world where they're like the keepers of it. And they're going to have, I haven't quite figured out what their personalities are like. But I did have a rabbit growing up. So I'm like, let's explore that a little bit more.
I love that. I love that idea so much. Because, yeah, what do you mean a jackalope is real, but an armadillo is not? Or a unicorn? What? the amount of creatures in this world that are just a little weird to look at, you're like, what do you mean you're real?
And that one's not. I can clearly believe a jackalope, but not an armadillo.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to see more of like uncommon animals and like creatures that haven't been done, a ton. In the Halfling's Harvest, I had a lot of like bunny corns, which are like little rabbits with the unicorn horns. Uh, Around the vineyard, I haven't done one as like an actual companion yet, so I think that could be a lot of fun. But yeah, anything just like out of the ordinary, I think it would be a lot of fun to see.
I'm seeing a lot of raccoons and platypuses in the chat.
Yeah.
So yes.
I have my latest book. I have a battle ostrich, and
incredible.
And honestly, it's a nod to like the Big Bang Theory because I named him Glenn. I don't know if any of you watch the Big Bang Theory. Glenn
Absolutely, yeah.
He's very prissy, and he's not like, we don't really ever see him in battle because he's like very fussy, and so that was really fun to do a battle ostrich. And he like and it was just kind of a last minute thing. Like he was not a plant; he just kind of appeared, and now he's kind of playing a major role going forward because he's a battle ostrich, and how could he not? So I think, but I'm really impressed by the creative, like I think the breadth of sidekicks in cozy fantasy, like spider plants and moss, and like there's some really, really creative things going on and things that I didn't think I would find cute and cozy, and they are very cute and cozy.
Yeah, I was just thinking of I love Sir Victor's spider plant in the spell shop. It's just so fantastic, and he's so sassy. I love it so much. I read recently Sango Madana's latest release, which is Guide to Magical Innkeeping, and there's a bone rooster named Ruru, and he's the best. He just is this little weird little bone creature walking around, held together by sinew. I'm like, creepy but absolutely adorable. I love it.
Well, have we all read Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking?
Not yet.
Okay, so there is a sourdough starter, a carnivorous sourdough starter named Bob.
Incredible.
And it's hysterical because I think part of it too is because of like COVID and the sourdough craze that went off. And I like sourdough's kind of gross and be like, yeah, it is. And we're going to make it bad. And I was like, but also cute and like great. And it's not really a cozy book, by the way. But because of Bob, I think people are like, it's so cute and cozy. I'm like, he's kind of carnivorous. He's gonna eat you. It's not cozy.
But it's like that's really relatable because I feel like I remember my mom having a sourdough starter in the fridge and we called him Herbie, and that was like a big thing back then. And like it's weird. And I think, but it's relatable. Like that's so funny.
Yeah, I have in my contemporary sapphic novella, which is a Christmas novella, my baker has a sourdough starter that is like, it's not sentient, but like she thinks it is because it likes to just explode randomly. And I even Googled, I was like, do sourdough starters explode? And it's like, it's very rare. And I'm like, but what if you have one that's a little bit
cayenne pepper in that one?
So he shows up and he's named, and it's very funny. He's not like a sentient thing at all, but I love the fact that sourdough has permeated so many things. And I love that it's said, I have to read that. I love T. Kingfisher's work, and she's on my list for sure. Oh my goodness.
It also kind of pivots from like, we're talking about animals, and I was like, oh wait, that's not an animal, but we could do like the plants. Like I don't like plants. I'm not a plant person. So I would stress out. Plants stress me out. And so like I was like, I don't really like the plant companions, but like I like how it became a thing, but like I would probably make them evil. Like probably not in my stories.
But I feel like it was done so well because I remember thinking like, I'm not gonna like a plant companion. And then I was obsessed with the plant companion. Like so I think it's like if it's done and it's a companion, it's really cozy, then I feel like it can be anything.
Yeah, it's all in the execution.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. It's in the personality you give it. It's in the little quips and banter that they have with the main character. It's in the bond, 100%. Yeah. What other fun non-animal creatures could we have as a fun sidekick, do you think?
Well, in the Halfling's Harvest, I had a slime that was a companion to one of the wizards, and he also had a little a golem that was made of like twigs, and it would like crawl around on his shoulder.
I really need to catch up on your books. This sounds amazing. Oh my god.
I want to do like a companion, like clothing, like not just like a hat, but like maybe like a scarf or like an apron that's like kind of like it's just on them, and then it turns into like helping them out, and like like an apron, like you tie it, but like the ends will like grab things and help you. Like I like the idea of clothing being a companion. But I've seen some books that do like spirits of different animals, or like the Lone Wolf Cafe was recently came out, and she has different, like there's like a fridge spirit that brings ingredients from the back of the fridge, and there's like a fire companion that lights it, so it can be elemental too. I prefer the animal companions personally in my books, but now that I'm thinking about it, you can get crazy.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And I was thinking when you said I want a piece of clothing as a companion, just go with a snood, because snoods can be anything.
Yes, a snood, any shape you want.
Any shape you want. I've seen that snood girl on TikTok a few times, and I'm like, she has a snood companion somewhere.
Figured it out.
I think I'm trying to think of other things. I don't know if this would count, but because he's technically a person trapped in a book. But from Ella Enchanted, the aunt's like boyfriend Benny is trapped in the book, and he helps Ella the whole time. I wonder if that would count as a companion, because I guess a sidekick of some kind.
It's been a minute since I read that one.
I'm talking about the movie. I'm not talking about the book, because I don't think I ever really realized it was a book as a kid. But
if I wrote a contemporary fantasy, it would be water bottles. That would be the companions. It would be, I have my emotional water bottle. And I'm like, we all have, girl.
That's really funny.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I love that. I'm trying to scroll through just to make sure we didn't miss any questions. Okay, so let's go to the starred questions from today. Alana Costello says, which companion character first drew you to creating some of your own? So what's like one that inspired you from books that you read as a kid? If you have any. I know that's kind of a question to go back in the vault for, but
I think probably like growing up, Hedwig from Harry Potter was kind of one of the first like big ones that I remember kind of influencing me.
I liked Granny. We were just talking about in the last one. The Nanny Ogg's cat, Grebo, is a very naughty, mischievous cat, and I was like, I kind of want like a really naughty companion. If like I have one, I want them to kind of be disruptive versus helpful.
Yeah, totally agree. Also, if anyone else who's watching has more questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, and we will try get to them all. How about you, TL? Do you have any?
I always feel like a lot of the Disney movies, the animals that like you got Sven from Frozen, you've got, like you mentioned, Mulan, like they always have the animal sidekick that I feel like is the best character in the entire thing. And I feel like that's something we were almost like primed to love and create, just because they're so important, and they're so they get to do the cool things and be the funny part. And I think that's part of like why we associate like these funny sidekick animal characters, because they were always hilarious. So I think of a lot of those when I think of like the hilarious sidekick, because even Sven doesn't talk, he has the expressions, and he has the
definitely
consistency. Yeah. And then the little dragon, and then even like Moana, the little chicken thing that like they just and he's just like kind of crazy looking. So I spent a lot of years watching a lot of Disney cartoons with my kids. So it's very.
I love it.
And over.
Evelyn in the chat just said Cinderella is totally the original inspiration.
Yes, the two little mice, Gus and But yeah, exactly. Like who doesn't
Gus and whatever his friend is.
a whole fleet of creative minds that like help you out? Like the best thing ever.
Yes, I agree. I think mine definitely settles somewhere in the Disney realm, or even Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the TV show. But that kind of leads us into the next question. Elaine also asked, and I had in my list, which is fantastic because great minds think alike. What is your favorite animal character in your books or in popular media that you've come across that you love? The iconic ones. I think mine is Appa from Avatar: The Last Airbender because I love Appa so much.
Oh, yeah, he's great. And Momo.
Yeah, Momo. Appa and Momo. The iconic duo. From my own work, I gotta say Locke, I think, is my favorite because he is just an anxious grandma. And the sounds he makes, top 10.
I mean, from my work, I have to say my Flutterstoat, his name is Crumpet, and he's a little bit like fussy and like gets upset when the main character like doesn't do that. He like helps the baking. And so he's got that little fussy, twitchy thing about him, which is fun to write.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is Fergus from my first book. He is the kitchen dragon in the palace, and there's like a secret baking business going on in it, and he's in on it. He's like, I don't care, just as long as I get the defunct cookies, your secret's good with me. And he doesn't talk, but he's just like, yeah, we're good. He's
pay me a cookie.
He's like my cat. I was like, they're gonna sell me out for a cat treat. He's one of those for sure.
Oh, I love the comment about the Muppets. The Muppets, like 100%. Which I love the Muppets because they're like the human comes in and the human is the like one companion.
Yeah, the human is the companion in that world. Yeah,
I love that flip. It's like, what movie are we going to do where we're going to make it Muppets and one human who's going to play it straight? Like the Muppet
I need this desperately. I saw it on TikTok once where someone was talking through it. I need a Pride and Prejudice Muppets so bad.
Yes.
It would be so funny.
Like
I don't know.
Like a human Mr. Darcy who plays it completely.
Just Darcy. Yeah, just make him go through it because he's just awkward the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you, SL?
From my own work, I would probably say Snort, the dire pig from Sword and Thistle, because like she's gonna grow into this 1,000-pound like giant warthog type thing, but right now she's just like a tiny little pig that he can kind of hold in his arms, and she's always trying to get into trouble, but is also like super clingy at times.
Did you ever meet anyone that had a pig? Because I knew people that were like, this is a great idea, and then it never ended up being a good idea. I'm like,
I've known some people who had like potbelly pigs and stuff like that. Like they can be very friendly, but like a lot of domesticated pigs are kind of aggressive.
A little bit. Yeah.
Pigs are
what makes them aggressive?
Scary. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, we'll go to EP's question. This is from when we were talking about research and stuff like that. Do you ever see an animal do something funny or weird or quirky and run to your desk to write something, write it into your books somewhere? Has that ever happened for inspiration?
I mean, I definitely watch a lot of like goofy dog and cat videos just in general. That seems to be most of my feed on whatever social media I'm on. I don't know how it happens. But
you curated your feed to perfection. Right. That's what happened.
Exactly. So I definitely see a lot of those goofy things. But I would probably think I'd take more inspiration. Like I make my animals have like quirky human characteristics. A lot more. So like I'm actually kind of channeling like a quirky friend who has like a mannerism, and I give that mannerism to the animal to make them like to kind of anthropomorphize them a little bit. So I find I do less of the like I just watch the dog be goofy for fun for me, and then I make my little animals like kind of human.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't think I've like specifically like seen something and like rushed to write it down, but like over my life I've seen so much like random things happen that I've kind of just absorbed it.
Pick and choose from the memories.
I think
love
it's
that.
especially because we've all had pets. We have like a wealth of experience to pick and choose from. Like in my second book, a dragon has to go from being sugar obsessed to be redirected to collect these coins. But he doesn't know, he's just a dragon. So he just starts collecting coins and he doesn't know which ones to pick up, but he just knows if he gets a certain one, he gets extra treats for it. And he's like, man, this is what I'm going to get. And he gets naughty because of it. And I think of like Tealstone, you're like, my dogs are barking there, the intruder's here. And I think of that. I'm like, they don't know it's the mailman. They don't know it's not an intruder. They just know if I bark, I'm being a good boy. And if I just get these coins, I'm being a good boy.
Yeah. I totally agree. I don't think I've ever seen anything weird like that, but I definitely, it's like SL, I just like take little experiences from my life, like weird little mannerisms that my pets have had in my life, or people or whatever, and I just bank them. I just bank them in my head. Elaine's next question.
I learned things about animals that I then do put away. Like I learned that otters collect rocks and put them in their little pouch for like, and sometimes they keep one rock for the entire lifetime. And I was like, oh, well, now I have to have a magical otter. Like clearly.
That's funny you say that because I gave my dragons, because of otters, they have pockets in their armpits where they stash their goods.
They stash their little,
That's where they put it. Or I could have given them like a kangaroo pouch. Like that's weird. But yeah, they have, that's where he puts all his treasures, is in his armpits.
And they have like special rocks. And it's like, they see like this, they'll put it there for a long time. I just love the fact that they're like, this rock is so awesome. I'm going to keep it. Like, I just love that.
Yeah. I love that. I relate to that so hard. I like see a shiny rock. I'm like, yeah. It's like penguins. They gift rocks to their beloveds, and I think that is very cute.
As we wear our engagement rings, like
I was about to say, so do humans. We're not so different.
No,
not at all. Not at all. Elaine's next question. This one is more of like an author thing, working with Amazon. So, do you put your animal-themed books or books with animal companions in any specific categories on Amazon, like mythical creatures or dragons?
I think there's one with dragons. I think I might have put the first one, but I have to like read the categories because someone told us, I think it was maybe Alex Peachy that said there's a new category
now,
which is crazy. Yeah. We're like real now.
Love that.
Paperbacks, right? Like just the paperbacks, not the Kindle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think it's in Kindle categories yet.
Okay. But I think in paperback it was like low cozy, and I think now it is low fantasy, and I think now it's cozy fantasy. I have to look into it. I don't want to touch anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure because when I was doing my original first two in 2023, I had to put them all in sword and sorcery because there wasn't a category else that fit.
See, I put mine I think in dragons and whatever the other one was. I think mythical creatures. I think my first one is in that one, and I haven't updated it. I mean, there's a dragon on the cover. I can't.
Yeah, it's a given.
Yeah, if it's relevant to it, like a big part of the story, then yes. I think most of mine kind of go into that gas lamp category because that's kind of the closest thing to cozy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hopefully we'll get a cozy fantasy Kindle category.
That would be nice.
Fingers crossed, right?
Oh, thanks, she froze again.
We lost Jen. So, do we have any questions left?
There's another starred question.
Okay.
Do you give your sidekick their own character arc, or do they just support the main character?
So far, mine are just in supporting roles. Although the Battle Ostrich does have his own arc, and like in a holiday short I have coming up. So, but usually mine are supportive.
I'm doing so one of like the backgrounds, like the themes is these dragons were trained on sugar to be domesticated, and now they're a little too reliant, so we're trying to get them off sugar. And so there's like kind of a story arc of like we're trying to get these like feral dragons off the streets, and we're trying to get them more into homes and shelters. And so some of these dragons that I have, like in the second book, he was working in a bar, but they were like, we can't have, that's health code wise, maybe not a dragon in the bar. We should probably, so he gets rehomed. And so he kind of has like his own little background story. So I'd like to explore that. I don't know if maybe he's gonna get his own story. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, none of mine have gotten their own story yet, but one thing I have been considering is doing like short stories, like for my Patreon or whatever, from the animals' point of views, because I think that could be a lot of fun.
That's fun. Or like how they met maybe would be a fun one of like how did the battle ostrich come around? How did he get his battle?
The origin story, right? Is that your dog behind you?
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Stretching. Yeah, showing his rear into the camera.
Down dog. He's just doing down dog. They're good at that.
Yeah.
Good stretch.
That's funny.
Let's see.
I saw another, if they have we put our own pet or someone's pet they love into a story. Do we do that? I did use I used a friend's dog, Crumpet, to name my Flutter story, just because I thought it was a great name. And she has this little dog named Crumpet. And I asked her, I said, can I use Crumpet? Because it's just the best name. And it's actually Lady Crumpet von something, but I just used Crumpet. But I was like, it's an amazing name. And so, yeah, so I did borrow that.
Yeah, I've never done it directly, but I do find like some of my dogs like mannerisms sometimes make it into there, or like I'll just use kind of our relationship to like think of like how my characters are interacting with their animal companions, and like how I felt in certain situations.
I definitely modeled the dragons after the cats, and one is definitely naughtier than the other one.
I love that. Sorry, my Wi-Fi hates me.
You get to be in Kevin. You're forgiven.
I know. I just hope it like holds out, because I got one more of these later. So I'm just like, please. I think adding like my own pets into books, I think I inadvertently did with this latest book, because I got Freya, who's somewhere in this room now, this year, and I had already written Thistle and Locke and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I think I accidentally put her in here. I manifested her into my life. Let's go.
You manifested.
I did. We're gonna do one final question, and then we start wrapping up. I don't know if you guys did Mandy and Jonathan's starred question about character arcs, but okay, we'll do that one. Do you give your sidekick their own character arc? This kind of like ties back into what we were talking about earlier, of like what constitutes a companion character, or do they just support the character? Like, what do you guys think about that? What do you do?
Oh, we did that one while you disappeared.
Sorry. What do you do, Jen?
Oh, come on.
Well, I do want to add, while Jan's flickering in and out, I do want to add, I am going to do a dragon that is going to be a dog version, though, because I've been doing cats, but I'm going to do, it's going to be based on my dog, and it's going to be a Home for Wayward Dragons rescue, and it's going to be more dog-related dragons.
I love that.
That's fun.
That's awesome.
Jen, we almost made it.
Should we do what we're working on next?
Yeah, let's go. Good. You can start, Gal.
So the next thing I'm doing is a winter solstice short about Glenn the Battle Ostrich. And that's going to be in a December giveaway promo on Instagram. And then the third book in my series, Cauldrons, Charms, and Chai, which is also winter themed, is going to release January 16th.
I saw the cover. It looks great.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
SL?
So I should be wrapping up book 4 of my Tales of Adria series this month. It's called There Be Dragons Here. And it's about this 180-year-old dwarven grandmother who is taking one final quest to scatter the ashes of an old adventuring buddy who just passed away. And like his final wish was that she would take them and scatter them in this mountain range. And then when she gets the map of where she's supposed to be going, in like faded letters in the bottom, it says "There be dragons here." So it's been a lot of fun. I've got maybe, I don't know. Hopefully, I'll finish it up next week with a little luck, and then get it out later this fall or early winter.
Nice.
Fun. I'm writing, it's called Romance on the Row. It's about a secret cursed hex shop. And the owner finds a spell book and accidentally summons a fiery lover. And mayhem breaks out. And all of a sudden, a lot of people that aren't supposed to be in the hex shop are coming in to borrow romance books. And it's going to go from this like secret hex shop into this very whimsical romance bookstore, the first of its kind in Everdorn.
Nice.
I don't know when it's coming out. Probably next March.
Next March is going to be there like that. That's awesome.
Oh, I do have one other like cool thing to share. I don't know if you guys have heard of the company U2s, but they make like plushies and stuff. But they reached out to me and they want to do a plushie of my spirit fox from
Yes!
Hearthcon Tales.
Awesome.
So that's one of the mock-ups they sent me, and then it should be. I think the spring is when it'll launch. But if it does well enough, then we'll do others in the series. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's so cool.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 9 inches, so it'll be a pretty good size too.
Nice.
Jen, you're back.
I'm back, thank God. Okay.
We're just going through what we're coming out with next. And
Yeah,
kind
we're
of
just doing the wrap up.
I've been listening. I've been listening. I'm just like, I'll just type it in my chat. I'll just type it in the YouTube chat as I'm going through. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you all for being here today. I'm Jen. I said it in the chat. Canadian fantasy author. I got 3 books out that are cozies. I have a little sapphic novella that's contemporary. We're not talking about that today. These are great. This one has the most animal companions. It's like Disney princess level animal companions. It's great. Because why not have more than one? Have like 5. And you can get them anywhere. Yay. The next thing I'm working on is a high fantasy trilogy with a character from a second story that I'm very excited to dive into. It's going to be darker. It's not going to be cozy, but it's going to be fun because of necromancy. Woo! Anyways, we're going to leave it all here today, friends. Thank you guys so much for being such an awesome chat, and thank you all for being awesome panelists as I fight with my Wi-Fi.
Good luck on your next one.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think I might make my parents inside leave so that I can sit inside where the Wi-Fi is a little stronger. But who's to say? Who's to say? All right, we're going to leave it here. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.